I thought it to be kind of shocking was Kevin Stefanski of the Browns getting fired. And I think this is another guy who's immediately going to get hired. There's so many things that you can say about the Browns and what's going on with the Browns, and you can say that for years. I think that he was a good coach, and I think that this was a bad move for them as well. BC, man, you start us off this time, man. What's your thoughts with Kevin Stefanski? I think he's going to get picked up immediately.
I mean, it's just a pop. We talked about poverty franchises earlier with the Raiders and Jets. How could we forget the biggest one in Cleveland? So it's just, again, the whole team this year, aside from Myles Garrett's record-breaking season, the defense being elite again, as they are a lot of it. Again, one guy making the difference. It's not just him, but he's a big part of it. And Myles Garrett, soon to be back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year. That was pretty much the only bright spot. Shador had a few flashes here or there, but this team was not great. This franchise has never been great, and so I think that, again, it's just Cleveland. They're going to continue this. Yeah, they're going to continue the cycle of sadness that is going to continue to go there, and it's just, but that's what they're going to do. And I agree that I think Stefanski will go elsewhere. I think he'll succeed, but it's what this franchise does. They're impatient. They want something now. And it's going to take more than a few years to build it back up when you bring in a head coach. But Browns going to Browns.
It's wild too. I mean, like we all love stats sometimes too. I mean, this guy's was a two-time Coach of the Year within the last 4 years, I believe it was. So it's wild to me that they're shooing him out, but then they're keeping their GM though. And he's also, I believe, the one that brought in Deshaun Watson as well, if I remember right. I could be wrong on that one, but I'm almost positive he did. And they still don't have a quarterback situation. They still have a weak quarterback situation, in which they also got rid of Joe Flacco when he was playing pretty decent. So the Browns are just a weird situation here, man. That's your division there, Charles. What's your thoughts on this one, man?
I mean, I'm fine with it. Not because because I agree with you. He's fine for the club. His team's so impatient. And I don't get it because it's not a fan base. Like you look at the Giants, right? Another team that's kind of been in a weird thing, but they had the Super Bowls recently, so they're safe, right? But that's a fan base that is on you 24/7. You don't get any break as a Giants GM, as a Giants coach, or anything. You get no breaks. We don't care. In New York, that's just how it is. Cleveland, they don't care. Like they want to be good. Obviously, fans want to be good, but they're not pressuring every 5 seconds. Talk about the Browns. What are the Browns doing? Let's get the Browns better. Like they care more about Ohio State than they do the Cleveland Browns, right? So this team's just so impatient, and it's such a rush to fix things. Changing quarterbacks 800 times. You see the guys with the jerseys that have every quarterback in the past 20 years and stuff like that. Like Stefanski, as you just mentioned, has been a Coach of the Year, winner or candidate, or top 3 for a lot of times in the past few years. Like he's been good enough to get this done. And this is with the team. Yeah, I know they've been more of a defensive team, but this is like with. How many quarterbacks have they had even in the past 5 years? How many did they just draft a second ago? So it's just
a whole team off the amount of quarterbacks they've drafted since.
Yeah, like they don't get it. They don't get how to build a team. They don't know how to build around things. And it's unfortunate because they see teams like the Bengals go from bad to great, right? But the Bengals had a very similar situation to Tampa Bay with bringing in Brady. Yeah, on the surface, this is a very losing team. They have nothing going on. They suck. They're terrible. But just simply cutting down the turnovers and bringing in a manageable vet shows you, well, wait a second. We have Mike Evans, and we have this guy, we have that guy, we have Run Gate, we brought in Vita Vea. We're drafting internal guys. People were complaining about the Vita Vea pick, and now look how great he's been as a stopgap for the run game. And it's like they built it the correct way so that one player could change the team. Same way with Joe Burrow. He came in, Chase, Higgins, obviously Chase Brown's now Mixon at the time. A little litany of tight ends and stuff like that, some veteran defensive players. Went to the Super Bowl, and we're hanging our hat on just going to the Super Bowl and losing. Yeah, the offensive line has been bad, right? And we've drafted 8 offensive line picks in the past 3 years, so it's not as if we're not trying. And we got Orlando Brown, who's supposed to be a top 3 lineman as well. That didn't pan out as heavy, but still, attempts, right? You build around this team, and they just refuse to do it. And so I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that they have the right guy and they're going to move on from him. And I'm glad because I don't need another threat in the division. Just go on and keep making mistakes. But I'll tell you right now, Mike, you could have had Stefanski, you could have had Harbaugh, and now Dallas is sitting there kind of in an in-between coaching situation. Yep. Unless you like Schottenheimer, I don't know how you feel.
I mean, we're gonna be talking about the coach that got fired in a little while, and so that I was finally grateful for. But with Stefanski, man, I agree with you guys. I don't think he was the problem. I think the problem there is that there are people around the world doing witchcraft on the QB position, on the QB room for the Cleveland Browns, because they could never get a QB in there. Right now, it's looking like they're gonna go with Shador for week 1 next season. They're probably not gonna draft a QB, and they're probably gonna draft around. I would say maybe they would need a better receiving core. I think their defense is solid. I really think if they do draft defensive picks, it's just gonna be to get backups and on top of backups. Maybe try to improve the offensive line, but I don't even think the Cleveland Browns are that bad of a squad overall. I just think it's the QB situation that they can never get rid of that bad juju that is going on there, and I don't think it's going to be for a while, man. It's either they're getting bad juju on it, or like you guys have mentioned, the front office just doesn't know what they're doing when it comes to the quarterbacks.
Yeah, they've had 42 different quarterbacks since 1999 and 12 different coaches since 1999. That says enough about the team right there. I don't get, and then what I don't really get about this one too is that you actually had a good coach this time. So I'm surprised they kept the GM and they allowed them to pick the next head coach in here. I think that was a bad move for them. I think that for once you actually had somebody pretty good there. I mean, hell, if you could take Joe Flacco and turn him into what they did with the head coach being there, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Browns almost made the playoffs that year, did they not? They went on a run on that at the end of that, right?
Yeah, I want to say that was like
they were like a game away or something.
Like 10-7 or 11-6.
Yeah. So
like
I mean, like,
did they go to the playoffs with Baker?
Yeah, that was 2020. Yeah. So like
that wasn't good enough.
That wasn't good enough.
Yeah, they've been able to succeed with common players, but they just blow it. This is why they'll never get out of it until they not find something stable, but they stick with it. Like, stick with it for more than 3 seasons, and I promise you'll be fine. Not like other teams where it's like, okay, this is obvious. Like, this has been a long time coming. Why isn't this guy gone yet? Like, you can tell certain situations. You can tell what the problem is, and Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland was not the problem.
And you can even see it with this year. The games that the quarterbacks have had great games. Dylan Gabriel. I think when they went to London, he had a great game, and they won in London against the Vikings, I think it was. Shador Sanders, when he threw for 4 TDs or maybe even 5, 300-plus yards, they won that game. The team overall is great. It's just the QBs. They're inconsistent, or the QBs are not good. That's what it is. That's what they got to fix right there.
Yep. I hate playing them. Every time the Bengals play the Browns, all my friends are, oh, you got the Browns. That's an easy one. I'm like, no. It's definitely not an easy one.
No.
They beat us almost every single time. It drives me nuts because the rest of the team is so good. But, hey, follow me. Get them out of there. Let's start over and put another bad coach in there and keep them on the bottom.